Let us now discuss how are we going to create a simple select statement. So, as a reminder, a select statement is actually a SQL script or a statement that will allow you to retrieve the content, whatever is inside the database. So you can actually retrieve the content of ACAD terms here, as you can see, plus sections, registration, and student. So normally, you create several tables only if you have a relational database. Okay, so let us have a review of a relational database. So let us take a look about a registration database. So a registration database usually consists of students. So let us actually open it. So students are normally uniquely identified by the student NO. So that a student NO might be a number, but as you can see here, it is of type bar chart. Let us take a look about the act of registering. So this is uniquely identified by a regno. Let us take a look about the data type of regno. So it is classified as an integer. Okay? So students and registration are related. So they are related by what we call as a foreign key, student NO. Meaning to say, a single student here can be registered once or twice or many times. So meaning to say, the student NO is not the unique identifier, but it identifies the person being registered. So if you want to know the pertinent data about that particular student, it is inside student. So this unique identifier, student number, actually uniquely identified. This is functionally dependent. This student name, program short name, year level, and college code is actually functionally dependent on student node. So another related table is actually the academic terms. So the academic terms is uniquely identified by a term ID. And this is actually related to the act of registration. Meaning to say, a student can be registered under term ID 124. They can be registered under 128 as mentioned here. Okay? So this is an example of an application of a select statement wherein we use one, two, or three related tables. So let us now study how to create select statement using several ways. Okay? So in order to create a select statement, first of all, you have to know the structure and the relationship involved. Okay? So you can now know the structure by clicking here and then the columns. And then you can see the actual uh, column name and the data type. So first, let us right-click registration and then we click new query. So the active database is registration. You can just type, select, say term ID, comma, term, from ACAD terms. Okay? So let us see whether it is correct. So it is correct because not only because we know the syntax, but we know the actual column. But it's very hard to memorize all the columns and all the pertinent component of a command. So there is another way. So another way now is by using graphical user interface. So let us now create another query by clicking new query. So again, the active database is registration. So we just right click and then we can click design query in editor, and since the active database is registration, it will give you a list of possible tables, views, and functions that we can actually incorporate in our select statement. Shall we say we want to know all students that registered, including the name and all pertinent data about the student. So we can just say click registration, close it. You can say regno, the actual term, the actual student number, but we cannot see student name here because student name is inside students. So we can just right click once again, add the table. Then since student name is inside student, we just click students. And there you go, it is already connected. If it is not connected before, let us say assuming it is not connected before, you can actually connect it. If the connection is incorrect, you can just remove and then put the necessary correct connection. We can now click student name, program short name, year level. Okay? And then we can just click OK. You will see inner join here. Okay? So for the syntax of the select statement, we will just discuss it later on. What is important is we have created a simple GUI or a simple select statement using graphical user interface. We can execute and you will see that information from the two tables are connected together. Can we know the actual term? The answer is yes. We can just select it once again and then design query in editor. We want to know the actual term. So the term ID is actually a number. See here, integer, but the actual semester or school year is inside ACAD terms. So we need to put or add a table ACAD terms. Okay? And then we can just say, we put the ACAD terms here. We can say term. Then we can easily change the position. Click OK. And then we can see the ACAD terms. Okay, so the academic term for 124 is 2019-2020 second semester. For 128, that is 2020-2021 first semester. Okay, so let us now do filtering. For example, we want only to see fourth year level. Okay, so we just have to design it once again. And then we can actually filter here fourth year. Okay, so this is actually not case sensitive because in SQL, the string is not case sensitive. You can just say fourth year with a capital Y for year or not a capital. Okay, so just click OK and then you will see where here. And then you will see execute. Only fourth year student was actually displayed. Can you make an or? For example, you want third year and fourth year only. The answer is yes. So you just right click, design query in editor. You can just put here fourth year or let's say third year. Okay. So you will just say here fourth year and third year. Then you will see third year and fourth year arranged in different manners. You can actually sort it. So how do you sort it? You can just type here order by year level. Okay? But if you don't know the syntax, okay, you can just erase it here. And let's go to the actual graphical user interface. You can actually sort it. So you have to specify the actual column to be sorted. For example, you want to sort it according to, let us say, year level. Those with a higher year level first, we make it descending. And at the same time, we can actually sort it for the next sorting consideration, ascending. Okay? So it will be sorted first because this is number 1 according to year level, and it will be sorted once again because it is actually sort order number 2. Okay? So as you can see here, fourth year, the letter A, letter A. As you can see, there are 2 aala, meaning to say there is 1 student, 2 registration. So they are registered in 2 different term ID. So let us go further. So another select statement is actually the purpose of it is to produce summary. So to produce summary, you have to know something about select using group by. Okay? So let us now delete all of them. We start from scratch. So we delete. Okay? So when you group by, you have to specify at least one column to be the basis of grouping and another column that will serve as the summary. So when you summarize, it's either you count the information or the record. It's either you actually put the total or sum of numerical figure or financial figure, you put the average, you put the minimum, the lowest, the maximum, which is the highest. First, let us consider knowing the number of registered student per term ID. So we need to consider the act of registration and not the act of being a student. Okay? So we are going to put their term ID, okay, or term. They are basically the same. Okay? And then this will be the basis of our group by and another thing to be counted. So you can put their regno or student o, registration date, or any value within registration. Okay? So you just right click, add group by, and then we can now count. Then we will have a default column name or alias since we have to place another column name. So we can say NO registered. And you can see here, we will see that there are 4,394 registered students during term ID 124, or it is actually identified in the ACAD terms as 2019-2020 second semester. So we can arrange it alphabetically also, just like before. Design query in editor, we can now group it or sort it rather in descending manner. So execute. So those with a higher number of registration comes first at the top. Can you use another grouping? This time around, we want to know it by term and then by year level. Okay? So if you know the syntax, you can just edit it. But if you don't know the syntax, you just right click this one, design query in editor. We can now specify another column name for grouping. So we can say according to year level. Okay? Just put it there. Group by, group by. Okay? So you will see it is actually arranged according to year level. Okay? So what comes out at the top is the highest. So as you notice, the grouping here is part of the select statement here. So if we have 3 here, there should be 3 here also. Then the fourth one will serve as the computed value or the thing that is being displayed as a summary. Okay? Can you filter it in such a way that we want only those year level, let us say 6th year and 5th year only? The answer is actually it is possible. So we can just say, we edit it once again, that using graphical user interface. Once again, you know the syntax, you can just type it directly. Right click this one, design query in editor. So you will just say here for year level, we want to incorporate only, let us say, grade 6 or grade 5 only. So I'm not sure if there is a grade 6 or a grade 5. Execute. There is a grade 5 and there is a grade 6. So how can we revert it back to the usual select statement without group by? So all you have to do is to edit it if you know the syntax, or you just right click, graphical user interface, design query in editor, right click, then remove group by, and you will see that it is now a normal select statement without group by. Okay?